I've basically coached a lot of people when it comes to social circles, making friends in different countries. And from my experience, these are the two types of people that had the most trouble, right? So I'm going to go through each of them and maybe, you recognize yourself, right? And these are actually two people or two archetypes from the same spectrum, but they're both on the opposite side, right? So you need to find a middle ground between those two. And I will go through that here on the green one. But first, let's start off one side of the spectrum, right? So you have the passive ghost, all right? These are the kinds of people that are too shy, who don't have the courage, to go out there and to talk to people, right? These are specifically people from the West, young people as well, because young people are less used to social interactions because they're on their damn phone all the time, right? So let's go through that. Like, what is the passive ghost? So they are too shy, as I said, right? Now, this person wants a social circle, obviously. This person overthinks interactions, right? They think, oh, what should I say? What if I sound stupid, right? What if they reject me? They have so many self-deprecating thoughts that will hold them back from actually achieving their mission of creating new social circles. They avoid initiating. They wait for others, right? They hope to stand in a bar, all alone, and they just hope that somebody will come up to them instead of taking action, right? And actually going to the people. They avoid eye contact. They have all these self-deprecating thoughts and they're probably not as confident, which is normal, right? Because if you don't have any success, then obviously you won't have the confidence. The confidence comes with success. Also, coping mechanism, they stay on their phone so they don't have to interact, right? They try to display something like they're busy, right? They are texting other people, but nobody looks at them, right? They're kind of a ghost, right? As described. So they wait for others, they avoid eye contact, and they stay on the phone. When they are in a conversation, right? They give short answers. They say, yeah, nice, cool, nothing emotional, nothing vulnerable. Because vulnerability is really important when you have social interactions, because if you show people who you really are, then people are going to trust you more because they feel like you don't have the social mask on. And so if they feel that you don't have your social mask on, the chance is higher that this person will remove their social mask as well. And this is when you create a real connection, right? And they are low energy. When you have no success at all, social interactions, when you're not used to actually, appreciating the social interactions, when you're not used to building a connection through conversations, then obviously you're not motivated, right? You're not enjoying it. So you have that low energy. Does not ask questions, right? Conversation dies when you don't try to engage, when you don't try to go deeper than small talk, right? After the small talk, you try to pick up topics where you can actually go into. And then you still need to be vulnerable. You always need to be vulnerable because this is where the connection actually happens. But they don't do that because they're too shy. They feel like they have nothing interesting to say. They feel like they're not worth having the conversation. And this is when the conversation dies because people don't feel like you want to talk to them. And so obviously they will not want to talk to you. Then same thing, you have anxiety, you're stressed because you feel like the social interaction is not going the way that you want it to go. And then so again, you check your phone, you're checking the weather app, you're checking what the weather is tomorrow, right? You're scrolling on Instagram, whatever it is, you just try to look busy. You try to not look lonely. You try to not look like you don't have any friends. And then so you move around, right? You go to the bathroom, you avoid these social interactions, you check your phone and you disappear. After you're there for 1 hour, you haven't talked to anybody, you don't have any contacts, any new contacts. So then you disappear, right? And you disappear with a loss in your head. And this will make it worse. It's a downward spiral, right? You lost even more confidence because the evening was not successful. And then so let's say this person does get a contact, right? Yeah, they get the Instagram and it feels like progress, right? They have the confidence. They're like, yeah, I got the contact, right? And this is already enough for them because it was such a milestone. So if that is already satisfying, what comes next? They don't follow up, right? They don't follow up because a lot of them, they never had that kind of success. And then so they get nervous now because they've never been in that situation where they had a new contact, right, from a cold interaction. They never follow up, they never message, they never try to organize anything with other people. And so then there's no second interaction with that person. They will just be a follower and it will dwindle into nothingness, right? And nothing comes out of it. So basically the goal that you had of creating new friends, of creating new social circle, just never happens. So the result of that, no friendships form, as I said, no new social circles, no new friends that you can actually build on, right? That you actually can expand the social circle. Nothing happens because they are not able to take action. They are just stuck in their own head and they think they are failing, but the truth is they are not even trying. And these are the kind of people that you need to work on mentally. It's not necessarily the behavior, it's all mental, right? It's all in their head. And if you're one of them, then you're not doing anything wrong necessarily socially. I mean, of course you are doing the wrong things, but it comes from here. It's not because you're stupid. It's just you have so many self-deprecating thoughts that you lack the confidence. When in reality, if you take action, you will have success and then you will build the confidence. So what these people then say is, after having failed interactions, they will say, well, they were not interested, right? They were not interested in me. They thought that other people were cooler than them, whatever it is, whatever they're going to say to themselves. It's not true. It's just a lack of taking action and having self-deprecating thoughts. And then so what the reality really is, they never gave the interaction good energy because they don't have good energy, right? As I said, their mind is messed up. They're too self-deprecating and this messes up everything. These people, this pains me because these people could have so many things. They're too shy, right? And they're much better off than the other people on the other side of the spectrum. But they just lack the confidence. So if you are one of them, you need to work on your mind. You need to work on your mindset. And this is how you unlock these new possibilities. By the way, I have a free course in my online community you can join for absolutely free, where I talk about the mental aspects of this whole thing, right? But no pressure though. So what do you have on the other side of the spectrum? The social leech. Now this is the worst of the people, right? It's always fixable. It is fixable. But these people have a real problem in their mindset because they feel entitled. They feel entitled to the time of others, to resources, whatever it is, and they get shocked when people don't want to go out with them, and they blame society, whatever it is, they blame everything but themselves. Whereas the other people, they only blame themselves. But this person always blames the outside world, right? So this person also wants a social circle. These are the people that do take action. So they go out, they go to parties, meetups, class, even if they're in school, they travel, they try to look for, social interactions, right? And sometimes they are successful, but they have a real problem in building a lasting relationship, right? So they try to skip the connection phase, right? In the conversation. They don't really have any interest in the other person, and that messes up the relationship because you cannot form a deep connection, right? So they skip this whole thing. They always see the goal of having somebody that will give something to them, and they're not really interested. They don't want to have small talk where they can dive deeper into topics. They don't want that. They're not interested in that. And so they immediately ask for things, right? Can you invite me to that party, right? Can I crash at your place? Can you introduce me to your friends? It's like they see it as logistics, right? They see people as a stepping stone. And this is not what you want. You want to build real relationships, right? Real friendships that will last. And these people have real trouble with that. And so they request too much, right? Too fast. If you want to ask for something from a friend, then you need to have built the relationship already. What you need to do in the beginning stages is you need to give value instead of requesting value or hoping for value. And then if somebody doesn't give you value, you just forget about them. This is not how relationships work. If you have a friend that just texts you if they want something, then you don't like that, obviously, right? You want a friend that values the connection that you have with them. And so what other people think is like, they feel so much pressure. They feel so much pressure. It's like this person wants me to do something and otherwise they don't like me. It's like, well, I'd rather stay away from that person because this person is trying to drain my energy and take my energy. I'm not going to give that to that person Because who is that person? It's not even a real friend. So obviously you are gonna have trouble with that if you just ask for something, if you just ask for a lot of things right away. No, you need to build that connection first. And so the person will think, this person is too intense, this person gives me too much pressure. And then so there's an energy imbalance. So they try to take attention, but they give nothing. They give nothing, right? It's like if you meet somebody and then you ask them for a favor straight away, then these people are not going to want to be with you because they feel like you see this whole thing as a transaction, right? They feel like you see the relationship as transactional, and so they won't give you any time because you have provided no value to that person. So why should they provide value to you? That's what I mean with being entitled. People are entitled. And so again, people, they distance themselves. What you'll see a lot is people say, oh wait, I can't that weekend. They will just, they will not answer you, or they will deny any requests over and over again until they ghost you, and they will just not want to interact with you, right? That's the problem. And you're basically sabotaging the relationship before it even started, to be honest. So they get socially rejected. They try to, put themselves into social interactions, try to go to events, and they are able to talk to some people, but nothing ever comes out of it because they are entitled, right? And I know I'm being really strict, but some of you need to hear this. If you are on that side of the spectrum, nobody owes you anything. First, think of what you can give before you take something, before you request something. Even worse, when you have a reputation, right? If people say, well, this person just wants something, you get angry when somebody doesn't text you back, then this is not a good look. People don't want to hang around you. They want to have a person around them that provides value and is very low pressure, right? It's kind of like that friend that you have that you haven't seen in months, but whenever you see each other, you go for coffee, you go out. This is the kind of dynamic that you want to have, right? Because this person will not get mad if you don't text them for 3 months. It's your friend, right? It's no pressure there to text. And so, as I said, this is the kind of relationship you want to build, at least in the beginning stages. And then you can always build on a relationship where it's somebody that you see every month or maybe even every weekend, right? But you need to start somewhere where it's very low pressure. So how does that look when you find the balance? So I call this the social investor, right? This is the correct way. Now, this person wants a social circle just like everybody else. They meet new people from events just like the other person, the needy person, but they actually take action as well, right? They really try to put themselves into social interactions where they actually talk to people. They show curiosity, like when they engage in a conversation, then they ask about the person, right? They ask about the hobbies, about their passions, and about their story, right? Where they're from, what they're doing in the city, so that they can actually pick up the topics and, dive deeper into those topics to build a relationship in the conversation. Also, they are vulnerable, right? They don't wear a social mask. They try to share things about themselves as well. And the conversations, they flow both ways. This person is able to try to pick out these topics where you can go in a direction where you both are going to have to be vulnerable, right? That it doesn't stay surface level, but it goes deeper. And this is actually where the other person, right, they actually start showing who they really are. And this is the only way you can make a connection when you first meet somebody. Creates a positive moment, right? It's low pressure. This person is just there to have fun, right? It's there to meet new people and, enjoy life together. They're making jokes. They're telling a story about themselves, which is also vulnerable, right? But also, gives value because it's an interesting story. It's your life experience. This person laughs with other people, right? They share what they're interested in. And as I said, this is how you build a connection. Very low pressure, interesting, no social mask. And this is how you do it. Keeps interaction light always. And you never want the other person that you're talking to. You never want them to feel pressure that they cannot leave the conversation either, right? And that's why you need to keep those interactions even when you go deep and you are vulnerable. You don't need to spend too much time. If you're out on an evening and you try to talk to as many people as possible, maximum 20 minutes you talk to that person. Because if you're at a social gathering and you talk to one person the whole evening, this creates pressure, right? So there's a threshold. when you realize that, okay, now the conversation is going towards the end, right? Then you just say, hey, listen, I'm going to meet some other people. You're a cool guy. Let me get your Instagram. And that's basically it. Very low pressure. You show that you're social as well, that they are not the only person you're talking to, because that also creates pressure, and that you're not dependent on them, right? And so you're just having fun. You're just lighthearted. You want to meet other people. You want to have fun in life. And these are the kinds of people that attract a lot of other people, because other people want that too. And so they do ask for the contact information, right? Usually I always say Instagram because it's also low pressure. But sometimes people will say, well, I don't have Instagram. And then you can say, oh, well, you can give me a WhatsApp, but no worries though. Or you can say, no pressure though, but I have WhatsApp too, right? But always low pressure. That's the thing. This person has mastered the art of interacting with no pressure, right? Without putting any pressure on the other person. And this is also the thing, right? They always follow up the next day with something low pressure as well. I know I'm repeating myself with low pressure, but it's really important, right? It's like, hey, nice meeting you yesterday, man, right? Nothing, what is high pressure about that? It's just one text, right? It's not needy, not anything. It's just appreciation. Like if I sent this text, I'm not asking for anything in return. It's just a statement. It's just nice meeting you yesterday, man. And then if this other person replies, so like, yeah, it was cool, nice evening, whatever, maybe you can even make a joke about, regarding the conversation that you had the day before or the night before. And then this person suggests something, right? They can say, hey, listen, I'm checking out that coffee place. You can join me if you want. If you want. You see, low pressure. If you want, you can join me. But what you're basically saying is, I am doing this. You can come if you want. If you don't come, it's no problem, right? So it's low pressure. Same thing with a bar. Hey, listen, I'm checking out this bar. I heard it's really cool. You can join me if you want. Now, small events, I always say this is even better. And this person has mastered this. It's always, once they have a few contacts, few Instagrams, they're saying, listen, me and a few other people, we're going to that place. You're welcome to join, right? This is low pressure because they feel like, well, if I don't go, this person is not going to be alone, right? They feel like, oh, that's the guy, that's social, because this person just said me and a few other people. So if I don't join, it's no big deal. But if I join, then I will meet other people too. Imagine how powerful that is. It's basically a cheat code. And you can do the same thing with a small dinner, right? Everything is low pressure. Everything is chill, positive energy. Never say something like, hey, I want to have dinner with you. It's like, this is already a lot of pressure, right? And it's not necessary. You're not gaining anything from that, right? So always low pressure. And so this person then does this all the time, repeated interactions, and they will have so many contacts on Instagram that they can invite out, that they can organize events with. And it's basically the sky's the limit once you are that person, right? And everybody can get there. At some point, this person will just meet people, and it's kind of like a skill that they've mastered where they don't even have to concentrate. It's just so natural. So whenever they go out, they probably have friends with them that they invited, right? And they meet other people, and it's an upward spiral. Once you're in that state, having friends is so easy because it's just routine. Whenever you go out, you just talk to people, you get the contacts, and then you organize events. You can also, once you have a few friends, you can organize a dinner at your home or cook something. Imagine how great that is. Imagine how intimate that is. This is how you build real relationships. And at some point you will have inside jokes and all of that. And this is where the relationship really shines. And this is when you really, can enjoy the people around you, at social gatherings, because you're in control. You're basically the connector that connects other people as well. And so that's basically it, right? As I said, you can join my community for absolutely free. I have courses in there if you want to learn more about that stuff. If you need my one-on-one help, then I offer that too. Link is in the description. But always no pressure, right? It's only for people who are really interested. And so always remember, blend in, stand out, and belong anywhere. Take care.